University of Reading, UK. Her research is focused on disentangling the gender dimensions of agriculture nutrition linkages in India. She received a PhD with DAD Fellow in Agriculture Economics from the Humboldt University of Berlin, Germany in June 2016 under the mentorship of Professor Wolfgang Buchanan. Dr. Nitya Gaudru has two professional masters and one bachelor degree to her credentials. Bachelor degree was on agricultural marketing and cooperation. First master degree was on agriculture economics and second was International Master of Science in Rural Development with consortium of four basic universities in Europe with Erasmus Mundus scholarship. She is an interdisciplinary researcher having experience in empirical research in agricultural and horticultural sciences, including IMMANA and Global Challenges Research Fund projects. Dr. Gaudru involved in various developmental projects related to agriculture, nutrition, value chain, and rural development during her time as an assistant professor at NIRDPR under the Ministry of Rural Development in India. So, a warm and cherished welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you for your nice introduction.
Welcome, madam. Dr. Ravish here. Heartily welcome for this webinar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me for this to share my education career development experience with these young fellows. And can I start my presentation, sir?
Yes, please.
Let me share my screen. Thank you, sir. And let me start my presentation. And as already Priyanka introduced, I'm Nitya Vishwanath Gaudru, affiliated with National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj. It's under the Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India. It's located in Hyderabad. And presently, I'm also an early career researcher fellow at University of Reading, UK. As I supposed to be in UK because of this pandemic, I am working from here for their project from India virtually. And the basic idea of like explaining about my career path is to show you all that it's like every rural graduate have equal chances to achieve what they want. Like even because sometimes we say like rural, as we are from rural background, we can't achieve anything, but it's not like that. Every rural graduate can achieve whatever they want. I born and brought up in rural village, I traveled across the globe, like more than 20 countries, and I visited and worked in more national and international institutes and got a lot of exposure and experience from those institute, and I brought back my experience and exposure, and presently I'm working in the policy advocacy sector in the rural development sector. Let me start with my career journey, how I started. Like as Priyanka explained, I am a multidisciplinary. I can proud to say I am the multidisciplinary in education. Like I did completed my bachelor's in agriculture marketing and cooperation in from the University of Agriculture Science, Dharwad. Then later I have two master's degrees to my credential. One is I completed my master's degree in agricultural economics. Then later I have switched into another discipline, like that is the rural development, which is an international masters of science in rural development. Then I continued. And after my masters, I worked for some time. Then I continued my doctoral PhD in agricultural economics from the Humboldt University, Berlin, Germany. Then I joined and I worked in a couple of international as well as national organizations. Then I presently am doing early career research, that is the postdoc, and I switched my discipline in the agriculture nutrition, because till my PhD I was working in the agriculture and rural development sector. Now I switched my career in the agriculture nutrition. Now I'm working in the agri-nutrition linkages. Coming to the fellowships, I can say I'm very lucky to get many of the fellowships. For my masters, I got a Erasmus Mundus fellowship from it's a consortium of basic different 5 universities. and I got this fellowship to take international IMRD, International Masters in Rural Development. Then when I was doing my PhD, I got like that German Academic Exchange Fellowships for my PhD. Then during now I am for the postdoc, I got Imana Fellowship. This is Innovative Methods, Metrics and Agri Nutrition Actions. This is UK and US based funding, UK aid funded, and this is mainly for the early career researchers who are doing like agricultural nutrition aspects and agriculture nutrition research projects. These are all the fellowships where I taken during my education period. Then coming to the exposure, I can say I exposed to multicultural working environment by when I was doing different educations, like during masters, PhD, as well as postdoc, and working with the different interdisciplinary environment, and working and learning with many interdisciplinary people, like interculture and interdisciplinary scientists, as well as there's a lot of network connection was happened during my education, like masters and PhD during when I was in the abroad. And as this network, not only professional network, I also developed a personal network with those people, like from the Germans. Still, till now, I am in touch with them. Many of my friends and colleagues over phone or over emails, we are in keep continuously in touch with them. This is also very important for our career development when we have to, like when we develop our networks. And I can say that I have more than 6 years of experience with national and international experience, as well as I worked in different areas. Like when I completed my PhD, then I came back to India and I started my career in the ICRIER, what it is International Council for International Economic Relationship, which is located in New Delhi, where I got an opportunity to work with Dr. Ashok Gulati, who is one of the top agricultural economists in this country. And then I started working with, later I worked with ICRISAT, as all agri-graduates may know in ICRISAT, because it is also international CGR institute, where there are a lot of research work is going on with respect to different aspects and different disciplines. There also I got an opportunity to work with World Vegetable Centers, where horticulture and agriculture, vegetable like a value chain products. Then I shifted to like a NIRDPR, where I'm doing more on policy advocacy aspects. As you can see that my whole career path is in a different angle. As multidisciplinary, I was getting more of fellowships and exposure and experience with respect to different national and international and professionally. So I was getting this one. So these are all the aspects. As a born in rural background, I get exposure and experience with the national and international. So why can't others? Like everyone will get an opportunity to work and get an experience in the international arena. And at the same time, either like education, at the same time, equally important, we need to give the skills and language, because nowadays it's a more competitive world. We need to give more importance for our skills, in which area we are going to do our research, or in which area we are going to develop our career. We have to put a lot of efforts to develop the skills related to that area. For example, as an agricultural economist, for me, there is a lot of skill development which related to technicals like softwares, Stata, SPSS, SAS. These are, I put a lot of efforts in that skills, developing in that skills, and also the language is also another important skill you need to develop to communicate your results or research experience. This is all my career path, where I traveled from local to global level and bring back those experience to the again back to the motherland. And if you have any doubts in between, you can freely ask me any questions.
Yes, madam, please.
You can the students can ask any questions in between. If wherever they want to stop, they can stop and ask the questions.
Yes, yes. Participants, you are feel free to ask questions. And
Actually, we already kept open chat box as well as for Q&A section. And even if you want to raise any questions in between the talk, as resource person is requesting, So you can use the option of raising your hand so that we can call for your questions. Okay,
Okay.
that would be great, I guess. Is
Okay.
that fine for you, madam?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fine. And even the skills and languages, as I was mentioning, at the equal education, it is as it is equally important. You can develop these skills by training and networking, or you can go with the online courses. There are a lot of online courses are available, skill-based online courses are available. You can attend those skills and get those skills to develop your career. Coming to the higher education, like India versus abroad, like why I don't want to concentrate one or two countries. I just want to give a broader picture about like a foreign education aspects. As we can see that in I'm not undermining or overestimating any Indian education system is best or foreign education system is best. Just I'm comparing and giving you some idea about what is going on in the outside and what is happening in the India. For example, in India, when we were studying, it was now also, I think, I hope now also it is the same, because as we are studying, always we focus on exams, what will coming in the exams, how we have to pass, how we have to get marks, and it's like a lot of force will be towards examination. But when I went to the Western countries, it was not like that. It was like all the way it was self-interest. What is your interest? You develop the interest and you work in that area. They were never ever targeted for the exams. They always wanted to learn something which is very interesting for them. They never ever, even till PUC, there is no exams for the students. But here we always want to excel in our exams and get marks and grades and all. But it's not like in abroad. It's the education system itself is entirely different. But still I can say that here they are giving more of conceptual understanding and practices. See, for example, if they want to understand, even when for the first time when I went for an MSc, they were giving the open book exam. Then when that was the first time I heard about the open book exam, then we thought, oh, it will be easy, they will give the books and I will write the exam. But it is not at all easy unless you understand the concept and practices. So though it is open book exam, many students used to fail because it is not understanding the concept and practices. Because we always mug up some of the things and we write the exam. That is the practice we are practicing. But they are giving always conceptual understanding. If they give one's concept, they will deeply understand those concepts and practices, how that is happening. For example, if you take an livestock or agricultural aspect, sustainable agriculture, like they will deep dive into those concepts. What kind of pros and consequences, why it is, how we have to solve, how practically do we have to see. Like there are a lot of conceptual understanding and practices is happening in those learnings in the outside. So these kind of exposure we got when we went to the abroad. Then intercultural exchange and exposure, because as obviously the cultural differences are existing between both the countries and even the education system also. So we were interacting with them and we were exchanging our culture and we were getting exposed to different aspects in the education system. And for example, when I was doing the masters, it was, as I mentioned, it is a consortium of 4 universities. We were traveling to different universities. For example, first 6 months we were in the Belgium, then next 6 months we were in Germany, and another 6 months we were in the like another 2 months I was in the Italy. Like this, there are different cultural exposure we got. For example, in Indian system, if we registered in one university, we will stick on to that university. We will not think about the other universities. We will not go and explore those like other aspects, what kind of different systems are existing. But there we were like we traveled to different universities during our masters. Then we got in different experiences and exposure to different learning habits. For example, when I was in Belgium, there was a lot of skill development courses were offered, like R software as well as rural development function, RD related, rural development related courses and all. But when I switched back, when I came to Germany, there was a lot of courses related to horticulture courses. I was switched into horticulture courses and I was learning horticulture courses as well as policy development aspects. So there are different kinds of areas and different kinds of area subjects were offered, and we were free to choose any courses, and we can expose to any like a different areas, like a different there is all the subjects are equal important, but we are free to choose any subject over there. So like that we were interacting with many subject area specialists, and we were exchanging our ideas and exposure to the different subject areas. And also another one is like here in India, we most of the time we are dependent on our opinions, and we were asking our family. Our social culture itself is like that. We are always dependent with the family, and we are asking, and we are what we have to do. It's like a dependent opinion we are always developing. But there, what I observed is this independent decision taking. For example, if I'm interested in one subject, I will just go and join for the subject, and I will excel in that subject. For example, in for my personal opinion, when I was doing my PUC, that was the era of engineering. Like after PUC, many of my friends were joining for the engineering courses. But I was shifted to agricultural marketing. But many of my friends was laughing at me at that time. Now everyone is going to engineering. Why you are choosing the? I was very I was in the dilemma whether I took a correct decision or not. But now I can say confidently, that time I took a confident decision, because that time I would have taken the engineering, I would have some weight, but I don't know what I might be. But still, I'm very happy with my decision, and I'm very confident with my decision. Like that, independent decisions can be taken at the whenever it is necessary. So that independent decision I observed more in abroad. But here in Indian condition, what I observed is many times whatever my parents prefers, like no, you can go for engineering or medical, those kind of decisions are like opinions are influenced by the social structure or so family. Like that difference I observed with respect to Indian abroad. And new knowledge and expertise, as I mentioned in the masters as well as in my PhD, we were traveling to different universities, because there are many courses which are offered in the different universities. We were free to choose any courses, and we can select those courses, and we can undergo those courses. But as I observed here, if we stick to one discipline, for example, if I am in agricultural economics, I should continue in only agricultural economics. I can't change my career path. Like I can't change to other subject. But there were, even with my some of my friends also, there are changes. For example, one of my friend, they did in agricultural entomology here. After coming to there, they switched into agricultural economics in PhD, like interdisciplinary exchange and multidisciplinary like services. These are all very important. There we will get a lot of knowledge in different, for example, application of agricultural entomology part in the economics part. Like that, there's a lot of different knowledge and expertise they were getting in when they are exposed to different interdisciplinary subject area. And when you are become interdisciplinary and you are exposed to different aspects and different subject in the abroad, like foreign countries, definitely your job prospects will be improved. And you have to keep networking. Unless you are network with others, you will not gain the knowledge or expertise. So you should explore the network and work on that. Then you will definitely get a good career perspectives in the abroad as well as in India also. And only one thing is, if you want to go to abroad, it might be expensive, I can say, but there is lot of fellowship opportunities are available. I will come through for those fellowships, but you have to try for. There are in plenty of scholarship opportunities are available. You have to explore. You have to browse in the internet. Now everyone can access the information, but when I was doing my master, like a bachelor's, I was not access to, unless we have to go to the browsing center, we have to search, and we have. But now it's all the like a facilities, like information you all can access at your fingertips. In your every I hope everyone will be having mobiles. You can search, browse, and you can get the information. Like that, you can explore the information. There is plenty of opportunities are available in all the areas, all the disciplines. So you only think you have to put a lot of efforts, time, and quality time to explore, and You have to decide which area you want to choose, and based on that discipline or that area, you have to explore. And there is many fellowships are available. At the same time, even though if you are not getting the fellowships also, you can apply for the non-fellowship, and you can go. There is a lot of opportunities to do part-time work. Like a part-time you can work, they will be allowing you to, like as a student status, you are allowing you to work for a daily 4 hours. You can work and you can complete your education. This is also alternative opportunities also available in the higher education system in abroad. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
why can't conceptual learning and intercultural practices cannot be practiced in India?
Yeah, that's what we should follow. Like conceptual and practices, we should follow. That's what it is missing, because we are always concentrating on like whatever the subjects. Like for example, if there is a course, one course, then we are restricting to that course, but we are focusing on exams. Why can't we understand like a conceptual understanding and practices with respect to that course? That should come into the learning phase in but here also they are giving importance concepts and practices, but I observed more in foreign countries.
But in foreign countries, it may expensive, as you said. But Indian families are mostly from middle class background.
Yeah, that's for true. That's what, if you want to go for abroad, that is little bit expensive. There is but alternative options also available. Even if you want to learn in India, also there is lot of opportunity. Even the government of India is also giving lot of importance for the higher education system now with the fellowships and scholarships. You can make use of those fellowships and scholarships and go there, and you can learn even the concepts and practices also you can practice and adopt in our systems also. That's also possible. But
Then why government is not adopting such?
nowadays the government is also trying to adopt that conceptual understanding also, because but traditionally our system is developed like this, only based on exams. Like one, unless you pass the exam, you can't go. That's what the traditional practice we are still following. Even the if universities wants, they can make it as a open book exams, like a examination way only. They can make it as a open book exams, and whomever they understand the concept, they will definitely pass the exams. Like that, 1 or 2 courses should be adopted. Yeah. Any other questions?
Madam,
Fine, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
better will keep the question and answer at the end, because it
Okay.
is interrupting you, so it will distract the flow of your presentation. So we'll
Okay.
keep the question and answer at the end.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Let me and also learning by doing and interacting is also important. Here also we are doing like, but here most of the times we are not sharing our like practices. For example, when I don't know nowadays, but when we were learning and we were like hiding our like whatever we are reading and all we are reading, but they we are not learning. We should share our experience. We should interact. Whatever we learn, we should share our experience and interact with our friends for colleagues. Then we learn more, like by interaction and group discussion we will learn by more things. For example, when I was doing my PhD, we were like I was doing organic agriculture research, then I was exploring a lot of opportunities in those areas. So I came to know one of the course is organic leadership course, which is it is happening in even in Asian countries also it was happening. I applied for those course and International Federation of Organic Agriculture Movement. I got a fellowship to undergone that organic leadership course. So we visited a lot of farms to get an exposure of sustainable agriculture as well as organic agriculture, and I was interacting with many peer persons over there and technological development, how we have to how our like agriculture system is different from those system and all. We were interacting and we were learning by doing. I learned lot many things from those. Even here also the in agriculture university you will get like state tour and as well as national state tour, as well as state tour also you will get, as well as within the state also you will get interstate tour also you will get. There also you will get maybe lot of exposure and learning by doing and interacting with many, going to the many institutions as well as interacting with the many farmers or institutes or NGOs. This is the way we were concentrating more on learning by doing and interacting with different intercultural participants as well as intercultural groups. And also we visited many farms over there, because as I can observe that there was a lot of bigger farms were available. Technological adoption was very high in those countries, but as in India we can say it's a small and marginal handholding. The technological adoption may not possible, but nowadays there is a lot of opportunities with the group farming, like farmer producer organizations are coming up. There are a lot of technological adoption we can make it. Like we were visiting and I was exploring a lot of technological interventions with respect to agriculture as well as value chains and all. Like we were like interaction way as well as visiting to different farms. I was learning a lot of things. Here also there is a lot of possibility for you guys to visit different farms in your, for example, if you are going for the agriculture or if you are going for a interdisciplinary like different disciplines like horticulture or different forestry or something, you can learning with interacting with those field practitioners and all. You can learn many things over there. That was they are giving in those countries when I was studying lot of importance for the interaction with different agencies or different institutions. And also, in if you want to go to abroad for the education, higher education, the socialization is very important. It when you are socializing, you are very close to each other, and you can inter exchange your ideas, inter exchange your cultural practices, and build a lot of good network. And those networks will be helpful for your career paths, because you can build a network. Based on your network you can bring back the some of the projects, or you work together. Though these kind of advantages will be happening with the so like a socializing with other country students or other country participants. Then these are all the education and how it works. Then coming to the career development opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities, like as I mentioned, plenty of opportunities are available within the country as well as in the abroad. So but you have to plan your future. What do you want to become in your future? What do you want after your graduation or after your post graduation? What do you want to become? Whether you want to go in the same discipline or where you want to see yourself. So you have to discover yourself. What is your future goal? You have to set your goal, like how you want to see yourself. Nobody else can like a better judge, none other than you yourself. So you have to discover yourself, and you have to analyze you can judge yourself, like what are your strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. Then based on your strength, like a SWOT analysis you can do yourself. Then you can explore, based on that you can explore the options. There are a lot of options will be available. So based on your SWOT you can explore the options. Then take your own decisions in which area you want to excel, in which subject you want to study, in which career you want to you want to go. You select, you make a decision. For example, you can decide one, least two or three career decisions in which in this area, plan A, I want to become this. And if it doesn't excel, then plan B. Like that, you have to make plan A, B, C, then make your decision and put effort, more efforts, and take actions in that area. Based on that, you can develop your careers. Like you yourself is the better judge to develop your career opportunities, whether you want to be in India or whether you want to be in foreign. How you want to be, where you want to be at the after your graduation or after your masters and all, you have to decide yourself. Based on that you can work on that directions and put lot of efforts towards that direction. Definitely it's possible, because as you put more efforts, it is definitely you can achieve though like a career opportunities. And scholarship, and there are, as I mentioned, there are many scholarships are available. For example, I went through the DAD fellowship. There is, because you have to browse many times, because there is lot of fellowships like will be available. See, for example, here in India, for Indian students, DAD is available, but there are like you have to search like this, like advanced search. For example, you are in India, your status is, for example, undergraduate. Then you can search like your disciplines. Based on your discipline, you can search. Just I'm putting the agriculture. Even there is a DAD funded programs also available. If you want to see the DAD funded programs, you can search in that, or you can give the advanced search. You will get all the opportunities, what are all the fellowship are available for your area and in different, not only from the DAT, other research or scholarships also available. Based on your interest, you can browse and search, and you can get into those educational system like a post graduation or graduation, PhD, and all. There are many. This one is available, career opportunities. Like that, there are many fellowships and scholarships are available in EU. Like for example, as I mentioned, I went through European Union Commission Erasmus Mundus that time. Now it is Erasmus Plus, and there are many fellowships are available for different countries. For example, for Indian, Erasmus Namaste India is there. Like that, there are different countries. Countries also they are having different fellowship programs are available. And also Europe, like a fully funded fully funded masters programs are also available, like off funded masters programs also available. Based on your area and your decision, you have to search for those opportunities, scholarships and fellowships, sorry, fellowships. And there are even you can explore the country based opportunity. For example, in like different countries, you want to go for Netherlands, there is a, you can go to the embassy's website. There is a lot of like information will be available where you have to search for your scholarships or fellowships, and what kind of fellowships are available in those countries, what kind of career opportunities are available in those countries. All the information will be available. You can get into the embassy website and search search those opportunities or prospects of career prospects in those countries. And also you can even you can if you want to go to the individual university, for example, if you list shortlist some of the universities you want to get into your education, you can shortlist those universities and directly you write to them. Definitely they will reply for your emails, like what kind of opportunities are available and what kind of fellowships are offered from those universities. Like that you can write to them, they will definitely they will answer for your questions. And also there are different universities as well as different for example, DAD is conducting like a career development opportunities in India. Like that webinars and seminars they are conducting like regularly. You can attend those seminars and webinars. You will get an idea what kind of opportunities are available in those countries. And also nowadays, as I observed, you have to be in very careful in the selection. Sorry, you have to be very careful in the selection of universities, because there are a lot of private universities are emerging in those countries. So they are like a lot of minting money, though it is giving the education, but there are a lot of there, because some of the, as I observed, many of the students were very much interested to go to abroad, but those institutes they grab these they know this opportunity and they are the minting money. So you have to be select when you are going for abroad, you have to select the universities very carefully, and you have to work out how it work out with respect to money wise, as well as educate quality education wise, as well as your time. You have to be careful in selecting all those aspects, even you are selecting for the higher education in other universities, as well as career advancement in those countries. And also and many people, like for example, when we were going to the abroad, that time it was not but nowadays I'm observing there are many people they are following the crowd. So for example, my senior went to like a foreign, and I had to go. Like that they are following the crowd. Don't follow the crowd. Take your own decision, take your ideas where you want to be. You, based on your decision, your idea, you can take a decision where you want to go, whether you want to go to the abroad or you want to continue the education here, or this is like how you have to decide yourself, because you can judge yourself better where you want to. So like this you can develop the grab the opportunities and develop your career development. And other things, what I learned from those countries is like they are very their planning is very advanced planning they are doing. Where whenever they are doing whatever they are doing, their planning is advanced planning they used to do, like well in advance. For example, if here what before I was going, I was just just immediate a planning was there, but they there I learned that they are like, for example, next year plan they make it now. So what I have to do for next year, like advanced planning they are doing, and time management. They accordingly they plan their management the time, how they can manage their time accordingly. And also they are, whatever they do the perfectly. Say for example, if I'm doing the one course, I do learn perfectly. But what we do is we are learning all the pieces of different subjects, and we are not excelling in anything. But they are doing, if they are entered to the one subject, they are very excel, they are very perfection in those subjects. Like this they're very time management, well advanced planning and perfection, and quality work as well as work life balance is very well maintained. For example, when I was doing my phd, I was I was discontinued for 1 year during my phd, then I continued my phd. Though there's a lot of social help will be there through your fellowship, or as well as in those countries social benefits are, lots of social benefits are available. And moreover they are treating more equally, equal treatment will be there, all are equal. For example, even you are student or professor, or there is no differentiality is used to exist. Because as we observe nowadays, in especially in Indian case, we are hierarchical things we are observing, but they are equal treatment, equal, everyone is equal, they are treated equally. Those kind of like a positive ways we observed in those countries, and everyone used to follow their rules. And most of the time we see that shortcuts always, but they always follow the rules, and they put an effort, they put perfectionality in that, and they follow those rules and regulations over there. And during during my phd as well as in master's time, we were exposed to many we got a lot of opportunities to do the internships work, as well as to attend summer schools and symposiums. There we got a lot of opportunities, exposure and experience from those countries, and we brought back to it was my personal decision to come back to India to work here. But if you want to, if or some of my friends were also staying over there, and their decision. So there is a lot of opportunity to stay back and continue your career work means profession over there, or you can come back and serve for the other like in India, like that. So there is a lot of opportunities, and will be there in both the countries. Not India is also, there is a lot of opportunities, and foreign countries also there is opportunities. But how you choose your career is depending on yourself. Yeah, with this I stop. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask the questions. Hello.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. We do agree the statement that don't follow the crowd and you make your own decisions. It's always true that you have to look on your will and wish that what you want to do, and even in the last day speaker was also addressing that it's not up to that you already passed out from agriculture, but there is no need that you have to continue the same wing, but if you are interested with some other, so you can always have an opportunity in the other part of the world, so to switch over. So I think it's a very a good opportunity for anyone to approach. Yeah, with this, if anyone wants to ask a question.
Even if they want to ask me in Kannada or Telugu or whatever language they can ask, feel free to ask the questions.
Yeah. I think there are many Andhra guys as well here. So
Even Telugu also you can ask. In Telugu also you can ask. I can give the answer.
and I would request all the participants. So because here, see, if you look at the designation of the madam, so she is working for an central government in under the Ministry of Rural Development. See, this kind of opportunities, if you want to look over, so I think because when you gain a knowledge from other part of a country, other part of the world, so you can bring back the technologies and the recent tools and how best you can utilize in our place and for how best you can use it for the development of our mother country. So actually I would like to say that madam is in the best position that so she would be helping so many and she can make so many changes in the system and she can bring some more solutions or for better cause. So this kind of opportunities only comes when you have a good knowledge in the different aspects.
It's my
Yeah.
personal also, sir. It's my personal opinion also. You can go to other countries and get exposure and experience and come back and serve to India. That's also another option. That will give feel you like a feel good factor. Like when you come back and you even when I was there in the foreign countries, I was getting lot of contacts because when the foreign like Indian delegates were visiting foreign, we are easy to access to them. Like for example, I met in many of the like a policy makers, scientists, as well as like many of the agriculture ministries were visiting like for biofac as well as fruit logistica. It is a horticultural trade fair. There are many policy makers are visiting. It was very easy to access to those people over there, so I built a lot of network in that, and when I came back, the network continues. In this way, it is also good experience and exposure for you to serve to the society. Even you may not access to those people in India. When you go to there, you will get an opportunity to access to them.
It's very much true. Uh, and I have a question for you.
Yes.
So once you came back after finishing your all higher education from Germany, so I heard that there are so many fellowships are available for those who completes their graduation or whatever higher education from different abroad universities. One, if they want to come back, so there are so many fellowships or grants are available to establish their own a network or their own lab facilities. This kind of opportunities have gone through in some DST or DVT websites. So what do you say?
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunity. When you come back, there is lot of first initial period you will get lot of funding opportunities to develop your own labs as well as this one. For example, Dad is also giving even the GIZ SIM like returning expert. As I am an agricultural economist, there was a SIM program like a returning expert. When you come back to your country, you will get a funding support for 2 years to develop your to develop your career. First you have to start because when you went to the abroad you will see like lot of opportunities with respect to funding as well as for the like stipend and all like a higher side. When you come back to your country you may not get you will be in the searching of your jobs. You may not get immediate jobs. Sometimes you will be overqualified or sometimes it is not suited, the job is not suitable for you. For the first 2 years of period you will get some financial benefits and funding for your to start your career. That is more interesting. For example, this is for agricultural economics. For the lab, for example, biotechnologists or other people where whomever they come back, they will get some like funding to develop their own lab facilities and other stuff, sir. Even many of my colleagues also, many of my friends also, to access those opportunities, grab those opportunities, and they started their own labs here in India.
And while you were speaking to our past friends, so you said that you are also having the association with UK. team and you are working for them virtually. So could you please explain that what kind of program it is and what are the, if there are any benefits for this for our participants?
Actually, I was when I came back and I started my job in like after joining to NIRDPR, I was like through networks I connected to University of Reading. We started couple of projects, which is agriculture nutrition linkages. Because as we see, there is a after independence after 1960s, earlier there was a productivity problem, there was a lot of food security problem and all. Now there is no food security problem, but now the problem is nutritional security problem. We have enough of food, but how we have to manage that food and how nutritionally best we have to feed our people. So in that way, we were contacting some of the University of Reading. They adopted one innovative technology, that is to measure the energy expenditure as well as food intake. Because till now, what we are doing is energy expenditure is measured by observation method. Like what food intake, like they're measuring, like what is the food intake, and observation method is what kind of work they are doing, how much approximate energy is consuming. But we adopted, they were developed one technology, so we contacted them. We wanted to test trial version here in India. Then that is called accelerometer devices. The person who will be wearing that accelerometer devices, there you will be measuring the energy expenditure, and 24-hour recall method we are measuring the food intake. So for example, if the person is working like like a sedentary job, sitting and working, what kind of food habits they have to develop, what kind of nutritional aspects they need to consume. Then if the person who is doing the hard work, for example labor, they need more energy and they have to spend more energy and they need to eat more food. So this agriculture nutrition linkages to come out with the like a nutritional improvement of the people, we developed this technology and we approached them to develop some of the projects. Then we access those projects. Then based on these projects, I applied for early career research fellowship for the agri-nutritional linkages to overcome the nutritional imbalance problem. Then this was a very competitive grant I got. Globally, there will be more than 150 applications, and globally they will be selecting only 5 applicants for this early career research fellowships. So I am one of the fellow of early career research fellowship. Then I'm doing this disentangling the gender dimensions in agriculture nutrition linkages.
Oh, nice, madam.
And
And
yeah, even they can explore in ANH Academy. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved in the seminars as well as workshop to get a knowledge, and a lot of funding opportunities also they are mentioning over there. They can explore that website. And yeah.
please, is there any questions? So there's a question for you, madam.
Yes.
So does grade point more than 8 matter in the abroad fellowship? Is it matters in the abroad fellowship?
Onward fellowship.
Abroad fellowships.
Yes,
So,
yes. They actually they used to convert the grade points over there. So because Indian grade points are different from abroad grade points, so they will convert to their point like a 1, 2, 3, 4 their points. Based on that grade points, they will conversion ratio should be more than 3. Like there is a 1 to 5 point scale, but here we have the percentage, right? 100%, like up to 10 points. They convert and they will make it.
okay. So Prashant, is that clear? Do you have any other questions to madam?
If you have any questions, I mentioned my like mobile number as well as email address. You can write to me at any time. I am very happy to answer your queries. One question is, I am doing my master's in organic agriculture and food system in Germany. Could you please tell me about scholarships or fellowships that are given to Indians abroad? Yeah, one is like a organic agriculture. There is in Kassel universities. There is a organic agriculture separate center is there. There is through a DAAD fellowship you can access to those fellowships. Otherwise, you have to contact those professors. Like in that centers, they will be having a lot of projects will be going on, organic agriculture related projects. You have to write to those professors what are all the opportunities to get the fellowships or get into his team. So definitely they will come back to you and answer your queries. And as per my opinion, the DAD fellowship will be the best option to apply for that.
Yeah, it was a great presentation, and it was a good interaction as well. And I think if there is no questions, I would request Priyanka to say a vote of thanks to Dr. Nitya.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, as you said that we can choose other stream while we're doing our master's and PhD. If I complete my bachelor's in horticulture, what about I choose forestry for my MSc?
Yeah, there is a definitely they will prefer because even many of the students they are going as here they are doing BSc agriculture. There in Göttingen, I observed there are more forestry. They are doing like MSc in forestry.
Then, if it is necessary to do a equivalent course like bachelor's that we do here.
No need, no need. Here you did agriculture, right? Horticulture.
BSc horticulture.
Yeah, BSc
Yes.
horticulture. There in MSc you will be in the forestry science.
Okay,
Even
ma'am. Then,
even some of even Ravi sir knows Bombay Gowda sir and all they did it over there BSc agriculture and I don't know is did it or not but some of the students they are going to forestry science in Göttingen they did
okay.
it here they did agriculture science
Okay.
even horticulture science is also applicable for the forestry.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
What are the opportunities after completing the masters in agriculture economics from Germany in India?
In India or in Germany?
In India, ma'am, after completing the masters in Germany.
It's entirely it's depending on your decision like what career for example I was because after completion of my PhD in agricultural economics I was interested to work in rural development. I was looking for rural development options. Then I came to know NIRDPR, but still that time there was no call. Then I came back, but I switched into policy aspects in the rural development sector. Then slowly I was targeting to NIRDPR and the other rural development. Like I tried for NGOs also to work in the rural sector. By by God grace or by luck, I got this NIRDPR in rural development. But after coming, like after completion of this, you can come back and you can work in the different like a developmental sector. There is a lot of international organizations are working in that sector, or you can if you want to go to the government sector you can enter into the government sector, or you can enter into the CG system. There is a lot of preference in the CG systems. There are a lot of international like a CIMIT and ICRISAT. There are a lot of international organizations are working. You can enter into those organizations. It's entirely depend on your choice, like in which area you want to be, in which sector you want to be.
Good morning to all of you. Yesterday in my presentation, I don't know if everybody heard this. I just wanted to add because somebody asked about agriculture economics, right? So in my university here at the University of Hohenheim in Germany, agriculture economics is completely DAT funded. So you don't have to pay the tuition fees as well. So and you get like monthly fellowship for studying your MSc here. So if somebody is interested, so you can just apply here. It's completely free. Just an information.
Yeah, every year there will be a DAD call in the October 1st will be the like last date to apply. Before that, you have to apply for those fellowships for the masters as well as PhD postdoc. But for the masters, they will not ask any guide or anything. But for the PhD, you have to select pre-selection of your guide should be there, and the research proposal should be developed. So,
Yes, ma'am.
if and for example, as Prajwal mentioned, in the Hohenheim University, there is a separate university DAD fellowship is also available. That is also different call for that, and the general DAD fellowship is also available. That is there is a different call for general DAD fellowship also. So just explore in the DAD website, you will come to know all the opportunities which are available for your areas and your subjects.
Yes, ma'am, but they asked for 2 years experience. So
For masters,
yes, ma'am. For masters, they will need the 2 years experience for DAS fellowship.
Yeah, sometimes they ask, sometimes based on your like a track record, if you are good publications, and they are not only considering one aspects in the selection, they will consider many aspects like your track record, your publications, your experience, all those things. Sometimes they consider also. Because in my case, they also asked for PhD, they asked for the experience, but that time I did not had an experience, but still I got selected. Any other questions? Ma'am, could you please share? Yeah.
Yes, any other questions from our participant side? So if no more questions, I would request Priyanka to say vote of thanks to Dr. Nitya, please.
Yes, sir. A very good afternoon, and all present here. It's my privilege to give a vote of thanks to all those who have made this session a successful one. First off, on behalf of our college, I give a heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Nitya Vishwanath Gaudru, for taking time away from their daily chores and giving us such an informative message. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Then I would like to thank the Dean and all the professors for sparing your precious time for the students gain much knowledge. Then at last but not the least, thanks to all the participants for attending the session. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me to share my experiences with the future aspirants and future agri-RT leaders. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. And even when we had a talk other day, so we expressed that we can arrange a direct collaboration talk with DAT Foundation. So we always be in touch with you. So you please extend your service. So whenever the possible time, so we'll try to do that in the next coming days, so that it will be more beneficial for our students as well as those who are interested to study at Germany.
Yes, sir. Even you can invite the dad. They will come and share their experience and what are all the opportunities they will share. Dad, you can contact directly, as well as the GIZ, the German Development Institute. They are also conducting webinars and seminars for the opportunities to give the opportunity. What are the existing opportunities for Indian students in Germany?
Okay. Thank you, Nitya. Thank you, Dr. Nitya. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and being part of this program.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi sir and Siddha sir. Yeah, thank you.